What is up, everyone? Welcome to First Geek for 11. We're back with Daggerheart Until Winter's End, our actual play podcast system sprint. I am your host and game master, Cameron Franklin, and with me, as always, from West Coast Best Coast, is Emma. How are you doing?
Hello. I have a minor cold, but other than that, I'm good. I got it from my nephew, who's 2.5, and he's cute and adorable, and I love him regardless of whether or not he gave me the cold.
Nice. Joining us all the way from his Twitch channel is Locksteady.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
And
I don't
then
really have anything more fun than that. Sorry.
I'm also realizing I can't really do like location-based jokes for everybody because like it kind of hits the end of stuff. But joining us, we also have Tasha. How are you doing?
I'm here. I'm excited.
Then we have Mike.
Hey, everybody. Glad you could join us.
And we have Mayfly.
Hello, it is I.
Very excited to have everyone back, and very excited for us to dive more into Daggerheart in this first session. I have been loving the conversations that we have been having, both in like DMs, but also in our discussion chat as we try to get things ready for today. I have been super hyped for all the creative ideas that have been flowing, and I am very excited for us to jump into the world and kind of get to flush it out a little bit more with our like building out more of the maps and stuff like that, but also taking some time to get to know these characters as we set off on our first adventure. For people that may have missed it, as a reminder, we have our session 0, and you can go watch that over on our YouTube, where we kind of talk about building a character and taking care of all of that. The YouTube video is also a podcast now, so if people listen via like YouTube Music, you can find it over there, and so that's something that's also available. And then, as I have said and will continue to say, we are learning this game. Please ask us questions. Please, let us know if something happens that you think is strange or you're not sure what's going on, both for players, but also for chat. Like, we are going to have plenty of things that we are going to be figuring out as we go. And so, please bear with us and have fun with us as we're all playing along. And so, but, are we ready to roll some dice and have some fun? I say roll dice. We're probably a significant amount of time away from rolling dice, but here we are. And so, as a reminder for our world, the gods have bickered for as long as anyone can remember. We have winter that gives way to the flowers of spring as one god gains an upper hand, but then the blizzards return as power shifts back. In the kingdom of Avatha, being outside the walls when the storm hits means certain death. You must join together to protect your people, keep food on your table, and fight to protect the world as you know it. And so, Nate in chat says he'll be holding us to the rule book, which, not sponsored. You can pick up the Daggerheart Cool rule book wherever great rule books are sold, maybe even on the Darrington Press website if it's not sold out, as it tends to be. And so, so shout out to that. And so, where we left off, where we left off last time, we had our character creation scene. You have all received a letter or received word that you are being summoned to the Bureau of Crops at behest of the royal family. And we are going to find 4 of you in what seems like a relatively standard waiting room. There's a little fire in the corner. There's some cool like woodeny tables, but like it is like very sterile, very like waiting room-esque. And as you all look around the room at each other, I'm going to give you all a little bit of time to describe the four of you that are in this room. We'll start with Mike. Who is your character? What do they look like?
All right, so my character's name is Andar Seafallen. He is a Seaborn Qatari warrior. He basically looks like I guess the best way to describe it, like probably what most people are familiar with. You're most familiar with like a Bengal tiger, right? Like big orange, black stripes. Take out the orange and make him gray. So he's very gray all over, black stripes. Very, very, very cat-like face. In fact, the Qatari can be a mix of essentially all cat or cat and human, and Andar is all cat. But he's got a nice like little white mohawk going on. I love it. I don't know why. And then like he's got like a little pointy goatee. Again, I don't know why. I love it. But he's basically he's wearing kind of like a cross between like long pants, but he's got a very like large overcoat. And it's cinched with a belt, and then he's got a bandolier across it. He's got a handkerchief tied around his neck. So it's a very interesting mix of like if you were to take a pirate and a warrior and kind of like how they dress and kind of combine them.
Nice.
So that's Andar.
As Andar's cat-like eyes look around the room, what do your cat eyes see? Is going to be made so many times in this. You notice Tasha's character in the room. Why don't you describe your character for us?
Happy to. So my character, her name is Emrys Thorn. She is an Emberkin warlock. Emberkin is pretty much a fire elemental in this world. And I kind of imagine a little bit of like human flesh, but then there's like cracks of fire like around her body. So she has flames, I would say almost all the time, on her hands and arm, or like up to her elbows at least. Gorgeous long red hair, kind of with a half braid in the back. She has these amazing golden eyes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say for now. She's dressed in these weird looking boots that are not really, they don't really match her vibe. They're very like icy looking and very sharp. But her clothes are they're very cozy. Used to wearing a lot of furs and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now.
I am excited for us with your character to get into one of my favorite TTRPG things as someone who's played a fire ganassi of does your fire emanate light or is it just flavor fire? Because like I was playing a fire ganassi eldritch knight in a game, and like we would try to stealth, and it's like, well, like my character's like on fire, like am I like generating light? Like we got into this like really like meta conversation about like how does it work when you're like have a character who's literally on fire some portion of the time, and so
Ooh, interesting. Get back
I'm
to you on
excited for
that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll have some fun figuring out these situations. I feel like we're gonna have some great like successes with fear for you, where someone like notices the flames, or the flames like catch the corner of a guard's eye or something like that. And so,
Yes.
I'm very excited. And so, in addition to Imris and Andar, there's a little fairy in the room. Emma, why don't you describe your character for us?
Yeah. So Crinkles is stands at 2 feet 4 inches tall. She's quite small in comparison to a lot of people around her. And she is a fairy, who is essentially if you take Kaylee from Firefly and turn her into a lunar moth. Um, she has very fun lunar moth wings that grow out her back that are like green, a combo of green and orange. And she wears what is essentially the fantasy version of jean overalls and has the feathery antenna tucked right in front of her space buns that she's got going on. And because that's the easiest way to manage her hair when she's out gardening or just tinkering with her random pieces of cloth that she picked up that no one was going to use. Um, and she keeps on her arms a lot of the time because it's cold, at least to her, like very long glove type things that are just like green and made from patchworks of fabric that she just uses to keep herself warm. And she's just kind of flitting around, waiting anxiously.
And then the final person in this room with you is Locke's character. Rob, will you describe your character for us?
I am a tiny little frog. I'm just a wee little guy. My name is Beeman Fitzwilliam Peabody III, Fizzy to my friends. As I am a Nightwalker rogue, I'm clad mostly in dark colors, dark purples, dark grays, and blacks. I unfortunately am a little bit green, not because I'm sick, but that's just because how frogs be. And I guess you would describe my general presence as wary. Not so much worried, but always observing everything in the room as best I possibly can.
Nice.
So my primary weapons are magic rings, which Cam and I ultimately decided on a Shang-Chi interpretation of magic ring. So they are, when not actively equipped for combat, visible on my forearms. And I have a fancy dark-colored cloak to help maintain the not invisibility, what's the word I'm looking for, like just generally hard to notice if you're not looking for him.
Nice. Yeah, I am one of the things I love about the fantasy style weapons in games like this is that you kind of get to decide what they are. And so the book just has a weapon called magic rings, and it's like, okay, like what does that mean? And you get to just kind of decide what seems cool.
I was like, are we talking Shang-Chi or are we talking like traditional Mandarin and the 10 Rings? Like, am I knocking dudes out?
And so like that's super fun. And like I love the ability of just like, hey, we're gonna just kind of decide. And it's also something fun. I referenced this in our session 0 with one of the domain cards that like different players can flavor the things different ways. And so like if somebody else was going to use magic rings, maybe theirs are more like Green Lanterns shooting magical zaps out of the ring, versus being like a physical ring that is being thrown or something. So lots of very cool options there for everyone. So y'all have been summoned to the Bureau of Crops. Y'all would recognize this as an extremely important part of the local government. Even for those of you that are not like super familiar with Avatha, like the city itself, Avathia, there we go. So y'all may be outsiders, you may be new to the city, but most likely, like in your various communities, there would have been something kind of similar to this. And so the Bureau of Crops is basically the part of the government whose job it is to make sure there's enough food to survive the next winter. And so this is like a pretty well respected part of the government for obvious reasons that people like surviving. And so to be summoned here again. This may have been like a literal letter that was delivered to you, or this may have been something that you were guided here in other ways. So as you have arrived and you're hanging out in this room, you wait for what seems like a long time. Y'all were told a very specific time to be here, and that time has came and went, and you were just kind of hanging out in the room. And so after maybe 30 to 45 minutes, you begin to hear some rustling in like one of the adjoining rooms. And you hear what you presume is a worker say, "Hurry up, we have things to do." And a moment later, a furbolg and a human guard burst into the room. One of them is holding on to someone, and the other says to you, "Please follow me. Lady Amanita will see you now." In lockstep, they both turn around and begin walking the other way, assuming that you follow. I want to know from you, assuming you're going to take the call for adventure and follow them. It's like, you know what? I'm going home. This seemed fun.
Why would I do that,
My
Cameron?
character, so my question for you is, as they kind of burst into the room, turn around and leave, how does your character react to this?
Well, considering some of the discussions we've had, it should be pretty apparent that my character would be used to people of important status making decisions and assuming that you will follow suit. So, I give enough of a break to make sure that there's space between me and the people in front of me, and then I follow them onward.
Andar does the same thing. Like, does the dad move, like slaps his thighs and stands up and
Well,
follows.
Laces up his New Balances.
Exactly.
yep. Crinkles is probably like following in suit, but like floats a couple inches off the ground as she goes and is like wringing her hands. She's like, well, I mean, okay, I guess. I mean, I don't really have anything else to do, but I might as well.
Emrys has been pacing impatiently. And so when everyone else starts following, she's like, "Oh, finally," and takes off.
As the guards lead you, you hear some rattling, some clanking from up in front of them. You don't really have visibility around the guards, but they lead you down a handful of hallways. There's various offices on the left and right of the hallway as you go through this building, and eventually they lead you to a large office in the back. There is a sign on it that says Lady Amanita, and one of them kind of bursts into or knocks and then like pretty quickly opens the door, and then the other one turns and motions for you to follow them inside. Inside, you find a fun grill with a large, like, mushroom cap on their head. She says, "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Lady Amanita. I'm director here of the Bureau of Crops. I appreciate you all coming to join." And she, like, halts mid-sentence and looks over to one of the guards and says, "Those won't be necessary. Mayfly, why don't you describe who is with the guards and what may not be necessary?"
So there is another fairy. She's pinkish red in color. She has what I guess would be described as a jellyfish haircut. So she has two long strands that go down past her chest, and then the other half of her hair is about halfway right at her shoulders. It's very bright, vibrant red. She has two long black antennae on the top of her head. She has these white shells on the side of her cheeks, and she's kind of holding her arms out with shackles, like looking them up and down between Lady Amanita and her arms and the guards in her arms in kind of a you're gonna take these off me now sort of gesture.
As the guard looks between Lady Amanita and Cricket, they basically like give Amanita like a look of like, "Are you sure?" And then they reach into their pocket and pull out what we would see as just like almost like a debit card sized piece of like rock, and they go and hold it over the shackles. And as they do that, you all feel the air in the room like crackle as the magic that is holding these shackles dissipates. And like the air pressure in the room like changes as the magic leaves. And so notably, the shackles are still on Cricket. They are just no longer binding her. And so Amanita then says, "Perfect, so much better. Again, very excited that you could all be here to help out. My job as the director for Farm Supply South is that I am going to need you to go and investigate a delicate situation for reasons that we hope are insignificant. We cannot send our own troops right now, but one of our local farms has gone quiet. We have not received their supplies. They have not shown up to be with us before winter. And with winter starting in the next week or so, we just can no longer afford to wait. And so we are asking all of you to go and investigate their crops and their settlement. We will be able to send some carts about a day after you, but we will not be able to send any additional reinforcements or anything like that. And so what we need you to do is go and investigate, make sure the farm is safe, and then assist with bringing back anything that you can. Yes, she says, looking over at Crinkles.
Can I ask where you got your hat from? It's very fascinating.
And so as y'all look at her, you notice that in addition to having a giant mushroom cap, as Crinkles so astutely observed, there's also a little hat on top of her mushroom. And she goes, "Oh, thank you. It was a gift from a friend after last season's successful harvest, and my first one as the director for director of Farm Supply South." And so,
Great. I'm sorry, I'm very nervous. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I would be happy to help.
oh, that's just fantastic. I knew you would be. You all get the general idea that she might not really know who any of you are. And so some of you may recognize her, or she may recognize some individuals of you, but there may be a general idea that she does not know who you all are, or doesn't know you beyond like a reputation. And so, I appreciate your. Oh, go ahead.
To say, and are like looking at Crinkles was.
Yes.
Like, he's like, "Are we supposed to raise hands?" So why can't you send anybody else? Why are you sending us?
Oh, that is a fantastic question. The long and short of it is most official sources are indisposed, trying to get things ready for the start of winter. And so we just don't necessarily have the troops to spare. And so that is why we're going to be needing your help.
At this, Cricket will cough really loudly and shake her wrists with the shackles still on them.
Emerus is very interested at this.
He's
He's very distracted already. He's just staring.
If you want, look,
Giving the
if
side
you
eye.
want my help, these have got to come off.
She like kind of like pauses and is like, well, I don't know if I could really do that. Let's have the first roll of the campaign, Mayfly.
Yes.
Give me a, I guess you can choose your stat wise what you think this would be. But how are you going to try to convince her to like you're not bound? And so like, I guess to kind of clarify this, like I imagine that like the chains that like held like the shackles on your wrists together were like a magical chain. And so like they're not like connected to each other anymore, but the actual like shackle is still there. And
Shackle is still on me. Yeah, I want them off.
Okay.
Like I don't want these bracelets anymore.
Okay. So how do you want to, like, when I say how, like, are you trying to like intimidate her? Are you trying to make a plea? Like, because we're trying to like figure out what stat to use here for this role.
We can call it a plea because I don't think I should probably be intimidating this director right now.
Okay. Give me, I think this would be an insight then, if that's how you wanted to go about this.
So, which I'm looking at my character sheet. So is that where do I look?
Or
For
is it
stats?
At the very
instinct?
top.
Instinct, not
Okay.
insight.
Instinct.
I think I said the wrong.
Instinct. Okay. So just what is that? 1d12?
So you will roll 2d12, your hope and fear dice for everybody.
Oh,
You should
right.
have two different colored
That's right.
d12s. One of them represents hope, which is when that happens, that means something good kind of comes out from a improv perspective. This is the yes and. And then the other one is your fear die. And so when you succeed with fear, that's a yes, but. And then before we have Mayfly do this roll, of course, y'all know kind of the connection questions, but we as a characters have not discussed them yet. But would anyone like to say or do anything to potentially lend aid to Cricket? This would cost you a hope if you wanted to do this, but somebody could jump in and say something.
I'll do it. I was actually thinking about doing it anyway, but I wasn't sure because I can spend a hope to help an ally, and so I'll look at Lady Amanita and basically be like, well, it just seems to me that if you're going to ask for her help, she should probably not be in chains, because if she's going to come with us, she can't wear the chains the whole time, right?
Okay. Mayfly, you may add 1d6 to this roll also.
Oh, okay.
So for people coming from like D&D or Pathfinder, the way that advantage and disadvantage works generally in Daggerheart is going to be 1d6 plus 1d6 or minus 1d6, just depending on how the rolls go. And then something else I want to call out is a critical success in Daggerheart is your numbers match between your two dice. And so even if you rolled double ones, that is still a critical success. And so, just as a be aware for everybody.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay, so my hope die, I got a 7. My fear die, I got a 1.
Got a 1?
On my fear die, yeah.
Okay. So then give me a 1d6 also.
3.
3. So that's 11. Right. Oh, so 11 with hope is what that would be. So you
Okay.
And so Amanita looks over at you and says, like, oh, what's your modifier for your
Oh,
for your
plus
instinct?
2.
Okay. So glad I asked. The target number for you was 12.
Okay.
And so that plus 2 actually like is what bumps you over. And so you as you make this appeal, Amanita looks over between Andar. She kind of semi-nervously looks around at the guards. She was very comfortable with the magic being disabled, but seems very uncomfortable with the idea of fully removing your shackles. And as she looks over at the guards, she just says, well, go ahead, take them off. And the other guard walks out. And so whereas one of them had like this magical like stone, the other one pulls out a much more traditional key and takes off both shackles from Cricket's wrists.
She will take a big stretch and she will rub both of her wrists. Ah, thank you. She will turn to Andar and give a nod and kind of like a little wink, and then turn back forward.
Amanita now looks, we'll say like visibly like more nervous now. And she looks over and says, well, is there anything else y'all need before you get on the road? Yes, Imris?
Yes. This is going to be indelicate. What did you do? She says to Cricket. Looks between Cricket and Lady Amanita.
You can see Amanita like start to sweat.
Don't judge.
Amanita will say, I don't really know if this is that kind of company that we should be discussing these kinds of things.
But they're coming with us. So, like, I just want to know what I'm getting myself into. That's all.
I feel as though she turns to you, Emrys, and she goes, I feel as though it is a bit delicate for Lady Amanita's sensibilities, but I have no issues talking about it once we are on the road.
So you can tell me once we're out of here.
Yes.
Sweet. All right, I'm good now.
With y'all like kind of like resolving the conversation, Amanita like looks a lot less stressed now. And is she says, oh well, the farm is about a 3-day journey. We'll of course be outfitting you with food and supplies to make the round trip. And I would recommend that you leave as soon as possible. That's part of why we had you meet so early in the day. We do know that winter is just over a week away, so there's not necessarily a lot of time to dally. So if there's nothing else, we'll get you maps and get you out onto the road.
Sounds good to
No
me.
reason to hesitate.
What'd you say, Emma?
I see no reason to hesitate.
Okay, so if there's nothing else for Amanita, she will direct the guards behind you to lead you out. They take you back into the foyer where they will go and they will place what you would all recognize as a map of the world or of the continent of Avathia. If you're looking at Roll20, I'm going to move us all over to that map. And so you should see it now. This is one of the default maps for Daggerheart. And Emma, I'm actually going to have you do a quick share for us as we take a look at this map.
Oh, okay. That would be great if my Firefox didn't just crash like it always loves to do when I play TTRPGs. So I will be in Roll20 as soon as I can, friends.
Completely understandable. And so like I said, this is one of the default maps for Daggerheart. We're going to be adapting this to our world. And so Avathia is both the name of this country as a whole, or this like kind of collection of islands, like peninsula maybe. And then it is the name of the capital city, which we have right there on that cove or that inlet. And so they will come and they are going to mark an area on the map a little bit south of where you are. I'll put a little X there on the map. That is where the farm is located. And there's of course roads and things like that will get you here. One of the things that I called out to our players as we got started is that to always be asking questions, never take the maps at face value, just because we are adapting things to our cause. And so there may be things that are a little different. And so, for example, here on the map there's no road between where you are and where you're going, but in our world there is. And so I am excited for this also. And so as all of you look at the map, this is something that we could have done in session 0, but as we were still finalizing backstories and stuff like that, I want us to now take some time to actually add some of these places to the map itself. And so some of you may be from a community that would be like large enough to be recognized on this map. Others of you may be from a community that is smaller, and maybe you're just kind of see like, oh, that's the mountain range by where I'm from, or something like that. And so what I want us to do here is add some communities so we can build out this world a little bit more. Mike, I'm going to have you go first, because I know when we were talking communities, you actually drew an arrow to where your community is. And so
I was trying to make it easy.
Yes, I appreciate it.
So, So this cove right above Avathia there, I have called it so basically it's called Starlight Cove. And the reason being, and what I thought of this is being it like, in essence, like there's times of the year or throughout the year where this cove is just flat. There's no waves, there's no nothing. It almost becomes just like a sea of glass. And at nighttime, you can actually see the reflection of all the stars in the water. And the other thing it kind of made me think of is the idea that like during winter time, so it does kind of like freeze over. And at wintertime, when you get that first layer of snow and the light just hits it and it like sparkles. And so that's kind of where that name came from. But Andar's community, just to give you a little bit of background, is in there. They live on like platforms that are on stilts. And so there's kind of like a central platform, this massive platform that the families can gather on at different times. It's built on stilts, and then other families have like floating platforms that since they're all a lot of fisher folk in there, the platforms just kind of can float. And so like sometimes they have like long poles where they can push the platform where they want it to go. So for the most part, Andar's community stays in that area. But there are members of the community that do go out kind of near the capital city of Avathia and kind of to the surrounding islands as well, to other seaborne communities of Qatari that are also kind of in that area. But if you were to kind of think of like seaborne Qatari, this is probably like the central place where all of them would be from.
Nice. Emma, we can jump over to you for your community. Yours is a little different. Why don't you tell us about where your character is from?
Mine is a little different. I am technically speaking from Avathia, but not Avathia as we know it. I am from under Avathia. Um, I am from an under community. I forget what the name is.
I believe it is Underborn.
When I am an underborn, which is kind of weird for a fairy, but her parents just decided to move there one day and help contribute to um like growing like root vegetables and mushrooms and things for the long winters. And the under communities made the most sense for that because that's kind of where those kinds of things grow. Um, and so technically, Crinkles is from Avathia, but she's from underground, and so this is kind of the first time she's ever ventured upwards, and is ready for a good time.
Yes. And with what I'm about to say, I should have said this before we get going. This was a question that had come up kind of as we were talking connection questions. But feel free to like be as honest or dishonest as you are describing stuff. You may have like a specific perception that you want to give of the area that your character is from for the other players. You may want to keep some things close to the chest for now. So feel free to do all of that as we talk about these. Kind of however you want to go and describe your world or your community. Tasha, let's jump over to you for yours.
Yes. I'm still coming up with a name for the community because it's the last thing that I forgot to think of one. But Imris is from a Frostborn community. That's kind of remote, but not really. There are travelers who will make the trek out there for trade and commerce because the Frostborn community knows how to grow certain veggies that can only be grown in their little area of the world, like collard greens or something like that. Like there's a specific set of veggies that everyone else wants that only the Frostborn community can grow. And so they trade with outsiders for stuff that they can't grow, like tomatoes or something. And so I'm not quite sure if, I accidentally hit, nope, I didn't. I'm thinking more towards the west of where you marked on the. Is it okay if I mark on this or?
Yes, yeah, feel free.
I'm thinking like this little.
It's like on that little island over there. Nice.
Why is that yellow? Yes, somewhere right here. There you go. Thank you. Yep. There's like those little 3 little dots, like down here. I would imagine people, that's like how they cross over to get to that little tiny island, but it is completely full of snow and ice. Yeah. So I will let you know what the name is here soon.
Yep. Sounds good. No problem. Whenever, like, no rush. And so, Rob, let's jump over to you.
Well, I have a brief technical question. What font are you using for the?
I am using Caution script, Kaushan.
The one down there at the bottom. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. So, as a Slyborn, semi-isolated community, but one of the things that we're great at is, well, criminality is kind of the key to the Slyborn thing typically, but I'm going to say commerce in this case. So I am
Locating objects or things.
Yeah. I am from a fun little community over here at this tree. If it'll let me ping, there it goes.
Okay.
Oh, that text is tiny. And now I can't change it. Well, that's my bad.
I think I got you.
But yeah. Root. Well, the intent is to umlaut it, so it's like root. But yeah, it's basically the tree is the marker for it, and it is effectively the community runs in the root system underneath the tree and underground, so that when winter comes, we're able to, get underground and hibernate. We're right there on the water, so it's not really a port in the sense that you would see a lot of ships come and go, but it is a known port, because if you're looking for something and you can't find it, come to Root and we might have it for you.
Nice. And then Mayfly, last one. Let's hop over to you.
Well, as far as direct location, we had talked about some more nomadic elements for her coven. So Cricket is from the Circle of the Willow coven. They are a nomadic coven of wild-born fairy witches. As far as their direct starting location, I kind of don't know.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where they would have started. Their whole thing is they make their temporary encampments around the willow tree. So wherever there is a willow tree, there will have been an encampment or the remains of an encampment. So
nice. Yeah, and we'll talk more about communities and stuff like that. Thank you all for sharing. This is something that like they kind of push as like a part of Daggerheart that I really like. Those of you that have played like games with me before, you know that like kind of have like to have people like kind of flush out a little bit of where they're from. Even if like that actual like settlement isn't part of it. But for this, I really like the idea of as we're like traveling and exploring the world, we have these places that y'all have developed and brought out. And so, Emma, you can stop the share for now. Thank you so much. Okay, and we'll hop back into us as big. And so, but yeah, so y'all have a little bit of time to go back home, gather supplies. Y'all make an agreement to meet up pretty quickly in the day, and then are able to set out on your journey. Do any of you have, I did not ask you all this ahead of time, so we're doing this in the moment. Do any of you have any like good luck charms or trinkets that you're going to bring with us on the journey? Okay, Emma.
Emma's muted.
Yeah, I cannot hear you, Emma.
Sorry, that was because I blew my nose. I didn't want to subject people to that. It is, it is. She goes home and tells her parents, guys, I'm going on an adventure. I'm leaving the house. I'm leaving the underground. And her mom gives her like a little neck warmer that's like a dark sort of emeraldy green that she wears so that she doesn't get cold, because she's used to kind of like the neutral temperatures of the underground. And she like ties it off on her neck, and it goes with her overalls and her yellow top And that's her good luck charm, is her little neck warmer that she gets from her mom.
So cute.
You.
I don't think
Anybody else?
it's a good luck charm, but Emrys does have a. I need to find it. I think it's a ring that never comes off.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, a ring
Charm
that
cursed
she
object.
cannot remove.
She cannot remove. Okay.
I
Well, I
cannot
mean,
remove it.
I can think of one way we could do it.
What? No. You can try.
Come on, Mr. Frodo.
And say,
Cricket just needs to get all of her stuff back from the guards. So
Yeah.
she
So
just
as-
heads straight back in.
yeah. So you head
Just walk in
in
the room.
and like, yeah, the meme of the. And so as you go back in, the Furbolg and human guard have kind of like brought your stuff out to you. So whereas like you may not have been in like your like normal clothing prior to this, they bring you your robes, they bring you any like weapons and anything like that from your possessions that they may have taken earlier.
She will take her stuff from them, and she will take her dual staff, and she will kind of flourish it out and do a little bow, and then she will walk out.
And is it dual staff?
Yeah.
What's a dual staff?
That's a great question.
Okay.
So it is a dual-sided staff that I could pick as my weapon because I can do magic. And it's kind of hers is kind of gnarled. It's like a really long relative. She's like 3 feet tall, but long relative for her. It's like gnarled tree branches on both ends. And so it's just kind of these twisting, almost root-like shapes on both ends. It's this very dark, almost blackened wood. And so when she gets that back in her hand, she kind of holds it for a second and kind of feels the magic and the energy emanated with it. And she does a nice little bow and flourish of her robes and then walks out.
And Mayfly, I forgot to say earlier, you did succeed with hope earlier, so you did gain a hope. So.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay, thanks.
And then again, I don't remember if I actually said this or not. Everyone starts with 3 hope. So.
Oh.
So just as a be
She only
aware
had 2,
for
so
that.
let me fix that.
Yeah,
So.
that is good to know.
And I believe you can have up to 6. So once you get to 6,
Correct.
that's your maximum. You cannot gain more. And so, yeah. So you'll all. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I am going to bring a comfort item. It's a small patch of cloth that almost looks like it's made out of dark green moss that I just keep tucked in my boot. Meta knowledge of it is reminder of home. It comes from root, and so I bring it with me everywhere.
Andar does have something, but he's not sharing.
He keeps it
That's fair.
sneaky. He keeps it hidden, and as does Mike. And so,
Yeah, I'm hoping it will come out later.
so as y'all take, we'll say like maybe like 30 minutes to an hour to go and gather any like specific resources that you may need to go and get any of your like equipment that you did not like bring with you. You're able to kind of make the time to go through and gather, and then meet back up at like the city gates, and then begin your journey. As Lady Amanita said, you have been provided with like supplies, but there's like no horses. There's none of that. And so y'all are going to have to walk, or for the fairies, flutter. And so with that, y'all begin what is anticipated to be a 3-day journey. And you're able to make the way. And so I do believe that at some point, probably in this early journey, Imris, you might cozy up to Cricket and ask some questions. But
Yes.
this could be something that like maybe y'all are talking about yourself, or like kind of at y'all's discretion. This is something that maybe is like the whole party is a part of. And so, but I'm going to give like the two, Daggerheart has the concept of like the spotlight. But so like the idea of like what character is or characters is the scene focused on. And so I'm going to kind of give y'all the spotlight for this scene between these characters.
Side note, the community that Imris is from is called Moonfrost. That makes sense.
I will add it to the map.
Wait. Yeah, no, immediately. Like there's hardly any wait time. Imris will saddle up next to Cricket. Okay, so what did you do? Pretty good spell.
So here's the thing. And she kind of looks at you, and she like sighs a little bit, and then she looks off into the distance. Some people would say that this was a bad thing to do.
Okay.
I don't necessarily agree with them.
Did you murder somebody?
Well,
Even worse.
it might be
Dun,
considered
dun, dun.
worse. It might be considered worse. How do I want to put this? I'm really good. I'm really good with my hands, and I'm really good at taking things that don't belong to me.
Okay, so you stole something.
And it may or may not have been from a barracks, and it may or may not have been rations, and I may or may not have gotten caught, and I may or may not have spent the last winter in prison, but it's fine. It was necessary.
It's not so bad.
They take it very seriously, much more seriously than you would think they would take it. I thought it would be okay, but apparently I just barely skated by without more severe punishment, and for whatever reason, they decided that this whole debacle was a good reason to let me out.
I think Andar does, but for anyone else, kind of have like military, like government organizational type experience with their character.
Not really in that vein. I mean, we talked about my backstory involving people of political influence, but not really in that regard. So, like, I'd be aware of the implications of what she did, but it wouldn't really be like a "how dare you" kind of. I'm just like, I get it.
Yeah. And so this kind of hits on one of like the player principles that I gave to y'all, which is the idea of like the survival of my people is the most important thing. And so the way that would have been like translated is going to kind of be different. So like obviously like the government views the act of maybe stealing rations from a barracks as a very big crime. And like while like I made the joke of like worse than murder, like there is definitely like that side of it from like the government's perspective. And so like, and then for y'all, this kind of gets on to what Rob just hit on is like the way that y'all then like interpret that. Maybe some of you are a little bit more accepting of this idea of like, well, Cricket stole food from the government for other people, like, or for themselves or whatever. Like y'all may be a little bit more or less like receptive to that, but y'all would definitely recognize as like people in this world that the act of stealing like food would be a very big deal. And so it would not necessarily be shocking to you to find out that Cricket has been in prison for the roughly the past like 5.5, 6 months.
Did we all as characters hear this? Or was this just between the two of you?
I don't. I know Emrys would not be quiet about it, asking, but if Cricket had lowered their voice and been like, then Emrys would have also been quieter about it.
I would say Cricket is not ashamed of what she did. She kind of wears a little bit of a almost badge of pride about it. She feels like she did what she had to do. So she wouldn't have been quiet about it.
Okay, perfect.
So,
yeah, then Emrys would not have been quiet. Continuing that conversation.
Andar hears this. And if his jaw could drop to the ground, it would. And he has this look on his face of he is so scandalized by this. And like cannot believe the audacity of what you just did. And so like he is just like facial shock that Cricket would do this. And so for him, Andar is a very like he is not his color's sake. He is a very black and white in his thinking. And so he's very firm in what he believes. And so for him, like when Cam says this is worse than murder, that's exactly how the Andar's taking it. Because for him, the way he's processing this is like you literally stole something not only from people to help them survive, but was also important to the survival of the city of itself because you stole food from the military. And Andar is trying to get into a Vathian military, so for him, being a part of that world is super important. So he sees this as like not only did A happen, but it could have led to B happening. And so like you just watch him like his face goes through like a dozen emotions, but it lands on like pure, just his final face is just kind of like pure anger that you would even do this. And when somebody gets so angry they go quiet, like that's what he does.
It's terrifying.
Emrys just brushes it off.
Yeah. Cricket's probably totally oblivious to it. She doesn't.
Well, she didn't see Andar's reaction. I should clarify because she's too focused on body language and like listening to Cricket's story.
Yeah, I would say probably Andar's a little bit in front of you. And, if we're kind of like walking in a line a little bit, so he's kind of in front of you. So it's almost like he like whips around like that half turn and just like, and then he's going to like turn back around and just be like, and just like march forward, head down.
We're pretty much all very aware of how you took the news then.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And with
I
that
don't
out
blame you.
in the open, I don't necessarily want us to rush, but I do have stuff I want us to get through for tonight. And so you are going to find yourselves making camp. Again, getting up very early, walking for a good portion of the day. And then we're going to find ourselves camping the second night. And so y'all are anticipating arriving tomorrow. I want to use this as an opportunity. We referenced this in our session 0, but did not do them. We're going to take some time to discuss connection questions. And so for people that may not know, one of the ideas in Daggerheart is that every character has 3 connection questions. And as you're with your party, you actually ask these questions to other people. And then they will answer for you. Or answer the question. And so these can be things like, our characters are close. Why do they trust each other? All the way to some very specific, very individual things. There are like suggested ones, but of course we can kind of branch out and try other things as well. For the sake of this, we are going to just do 1 connection question per person. And then for us as a party, I want us to discuss connection questions offline for your other 2. And so we'll talk about how we're going to do that in our chat later, just as we kind of flush out the characters and build things out. And so the way that I decided that we are going to do this, at your table, you can just ask people. But what I thought would be interesting for this is if everyone was like assigned the person that they had to ask the question to. And then that kind of gave us a way of starting out with these questions. And then as a spoiler for one of the ways that this is going to work is in our offline connection questions, the order is going to get reversed. And so just be aware and be thinking about what that could mean for future times for you. And so, and then the way that I did this is I assigned each of you a value on a die, and then I rolled that number. Unrolled, and then whoever's number came up first was the first person to ask, and then the second number was who they were asking the question to. And then we just kind of built off of it like a chain. And so that's how this order was determined. And so Mike was rolled first, and he will be asking his connection question to Emma.
That's right. Okay. So Crinkles.
Yes.
What fear is Andar going to help you overcome?
I have this very interesting thing. I don't like bees, which is interesting because I'm a druid. But I don't like bees because I'm 2 feet tall. So they're much bigger to me, and they are very scary. And I can't live without my honey buns. I like the honey, but I don't like bees. So this is an impasse.
And that reminds me of something that I forgot to say for these. We're going to take some of these questions as like aspirational. So like maybe this is something like for y'all's characters that like on this journey, something happened with bees. And that's kind of like how this like fear came up or became visible to Andar. Or maybe this is just something that as we are RPing through our sessions, these are things that could come up, and that this is something that like Andar can help Crinkles with. So Emma, you are then asking Rob your question.
Yes. So I would be asking, what is something personal about yourself that you would have told me or will tell me that you wouldn't tell anyone else?
I think given the way this situation started, maybe while we're making camp on this first night, Crinkles may want to try to get to know the rest of the party. And so you come over and, you're talking to me, and the subject of the subject of what was discussed earlier between Emrys and Cricket comes up, at which point I might reveal to you in the moment without thinking about it, which is why I will not be telling anybody else, that I kind of understand where she's coming from, doing something that goes against the grain, even though it might cause you massive trouble, because I've been through something similar myself.
Oh yes, I understand. My parents were some hermits before that.
I get the feeling that it's the rest of it is going to come out in the not too distant future, but that's kind of like, I just kind of spill the, I get it, I've been there. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. And so that's kind of where I'm like, yeah, no, I get
Crinkles
it.
will remember this.
I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, yes. You have a little thing in like your quest log of like, wait for Beeman to be willing to say more. Like,
cannot proceed further in this quest yet.
Yes, exactly. And then Rob, you are going to be asking Tasha your question.
What did I specifically, what is the literal wording of the question? Where'd it go? Okay. So my question for Tasha was, who do you know from my past and how have they influenced your feelings about me?
Okay, so for context, Emerus was not born and raised in the Frostborn community. She used to live in the same community as, is it Beeman, right? How do you pronounce it? Okay.
Yeah. Like B-Man.
So the B-Man.
Here.
Not problematic later at all.
The
B-Man. Okay, so her family knew the B-Man's family. B-Man's family had a particular reputation, whether that's good or bad. An event happened with a family member of B-Man's, and Emerus's family had some influence over a decision that was made, and B-Man and this family member were exiled from the community. So her feelings are kind of like she doesn't understand why, but also hates that her family likes to meddle in, like poke and prod and like, oh, you should do this, you should do this. So I don't think there's any like negative feelings towards B-Man because she doesn't really understand and is also very curious why. Like she just wants to know why with everything. Like, oh, what did you do? So that's, yeah, I think right now it's more curiosity rather than anything negative.
Bless you.
And then Tasha, you are asking Mayfly your question.
Yes. So I confide in you about what my patron says and does. Why?
So I think between, and I don't want to give like all of the information you gave me about the patron. I don't want to like spill all of the. There is a particular connection between Cricket and her coven and her magic that even I didn't know about when I got this question, that I just found out about recently. And the patron that I think connects Emrys and Cricket. And I think it was probably more in the vein of figuring out kind of where that connection comes from potentially.
I like this. I love the mystery that y'all are building into these. Like, even as someone who like has some of this information, there's other parts that like I don't as the game master. And so like I'm very excited for what y'all have been figuring out. And so our last connection question is Mayfly asking Mike.
Andar. This is actually way funnier now that I know.
Right?
Okay.
It's built out perfectly based on the previous scene.
This is great.
Yep.
What about my magical practice makes you the most ill at ease?
Well, I'm gonna scrap what we, settled on, and now we're gonna talk about food. So, do we want to say what the big thing is, or we want to save that in case it happens?
I thought you were asking me, and I was confused.
No, I'm asking her because like we talked about something that will be, I think, fun if it happens, but I don't know if we want to spill it or save it.
If we can save it, we should save it in case that happens.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So Andar has grown up around magic, but it weirds him out. Like, he's one of those people that like he sees magic as like not quite an abomination, but like it's just strange. It can be useful as a tool, and beyond using magic for that, like that bothers him. So there's a particular aspect of cricket that if it happens, I can't wait for it to happen because it's going to be fantastic. But I would say just in general, anytime she will use magic beyond something other than like protecting people or using it to say like start a campfire, because maybe until we're sitting around a campfire, maybe she like magics up some campfire, and so like that doesn't bother him. But if she does anything beyond that, it will make him very uncomfortable.
I'm kind of interested in this from like an RP perspective because you are the only non-magic character in the party. Because like I was just like going and checking because like the Nightwalker rogue is a magic-based rogue, and so like that's super interesting as like a background piece. Yeah, that's super interesting. And I don't, Mayfly, did I jump in and cut you off?
No, I say ironically, I think that's what actually kind of makes this a little bit fun, is because when Mayfly and I were kicking around the idea of the question, and it was the question particularly of what about her magic, and it did dawn on me a while ago. We're like back in session 0, we're creating characters about that I was possibly going to be the only non-magical character in the group. And so we were discussing this. Like, it felt like, man, what a perfect question, because I'm about to be surrounded by a ton of people who use magic, and given his uncomfortable level with people who use magic, like this is gonna be an experience. And I think hopefully RP wise, it should lead to some fun encounters.
Yes, I love it. Well, thank you, everyone. I think this was a lot of fun. I was talking with Rob about this, but the idea of just collaborative storytelling and things that are like I had not planned this to be part of my character's backstory, but because I now have to ask this question to this person, I had to think about like these other things. I think it's a really fun way of like flushing out these characters. And I said this before, but one of the things that I like about the connection questions is they're not just like, why are we friends? Or like there's like some of them are like that level, but then there's other ones that are just like super weird and lead to some super interesting backstory. And so I'm excited for us to flush out more of those kind of in our chat as we build out these characters. And so, and then like I said, we did this kind of at this like specific campsite, but like these are things that could have come out through the various days' journeys. These may be things that like kind of go into the Beeman and Imris of
Befall.
that
I wear
maybe this
spear.
is something that like y'all recognize each other, or but like don't talk about it, or maybe y'all have a moment on the road of like, wait, are you? And so we kind of have options for when these like specific things come out. And yeah, as y'all get up and set off on your final day's journey to the farm, the weather is great. You begin to make your way down the path, and as you approach what you suspect is the final like hill, y'all notice a strange smell in the air. And right as you get to the top of the hill, you look out over a farm, and you notice that where several buildings used to stand, there's now embers. Those of you with great smell maybe have like been confused and like picking up on the smell of fire or rubble as y'all have gotten closer and closer. And those of you with, we'll say, very good eyesight are able to pick up what looks to be bodies on the ground at the farm. You're probably like 10 minutes away from the farm. What would you like to do?
Could okay, so given her ancestry as a horrified, or she's pretty like she's a fire elemental pretty much, can she tell if this is like a natural thing or a magical fire? That makes sense. Like because I feel like there's a difference between the two.
Based on like what's left of like the embers and stuff like that, you would not have the ability. And I should clarify here, there's not like nothing is like actively burning. Things have burned, and the fires have basically just not gone out yet. But there's like nothing is like engulfed in flame at the moment.
Okay.
So from your perspective right now, to kind of get to your question, you can't really tell.
What
Can
was
Andar
the
sense any movement in the farm? Does he hear anything? Like, are there is like does he see movement? Does he hear movement of like humans, animals, or is it silent?
Yeah. And this kind of goes to, I think, Rob, what you were asking of like what's like kind of describing the scene that y'all are at.
Well, but specifically, my question was going to be, what's our vantage point? Did we like crest a hill and the farm is below us?
Yes, and that's correct. Like y'all have crested this hill. Like there's been a handful of hills as y'all have walked, and so y'all are not like that high above it, but y'all are like above the farm, looking down at it in like a little valley. Like it's not super far below you, and then as you kind of get this first look, Andar, you do not see any specific movement.
I'm trying to interpret my character sheet right now.
How close are we to the dead people?
Probably like a 10-minute walk away. So at like a leisurely pace, 10-minute walk. Like if you wanted to hurry, like you could obviously get there much faster, but.
Mm-hmm.
I have. So you said the fire wasn't like burning or anything. It was like mostly embers and coal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a little on me, just a little bag of rocks and bones.
Okay.
Don't ask why. I just have them.
Just druid things.
Just druid things,
We listen, we don't judge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As we approach, I want to pull out a handful of the rocks and maybe some bone in there. And I want to like throw some of it into the embers to see if there's like any reaction from like if there's anything living sort of nearby. I want to like make some noise, but away from us to like see if anything responds.
So I guess with that, the question would be, are you approaching the farm then? Like, is there anything else like you would need to get like onto like the farm grounds to do that? And so is there anything y'all would like to do before you approach the farm itself? And Rob, I think you had something.
Well, I was actually first I had a question because the Shadow Stepper does not necessarily specify the distance with which I can step shadows, other than to say, and I feel like this implies combat, but I don't know that that's necessarily for sure, that I can mark a stress to disappear from where I am and reappear in another shadow. So twofold question is A, am I close enough to do it without stressing myself out? And or B, as a side question, is that like only if we're in combat I can mark a stress to do a far range one? Or do I have to mark stress to do a far range shadow step no matter what? So like right now we're not in combat, we're just kind of scouting stuff. And if we're far away, would I then have to mark a stress to say step into a shadow much closer to do like recon?
Yeah, I'm going to say, because I think it would be more interesting that at least at level 1, you need to mark a stress anytime you do this. That's
Anytime at all?
Yeah, so like even like outside of combat, if you wanted to do this, I would say that this is something that like for now would still cost you a stress.
The far range or the ability period?
The ability period, yeah.
Okay. That was what I was trying to clarify with the second question. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. And I should say from like a game perspective, it's like no matter how like up to far range is really what it's saying. So like you could really use it to jump 10 feet if you wanted. Or you could use it to jump kind of the full complement. And so just kind of whatever the scene needs. But yeah, so.
Right on. Well, that's also going to very much color how I would use the ability in a combat situation too. So.
Yeah. And so, for like clarification there for listeners, far is up to 100 feet. So like, I'll say for this, yeah, you're probably, like a little like, you couldn't jump all the way to the farm from where you are. But, I would say y'all are probably at like very far is the next measurement, which is like, basically anything other than the metric system. Very far is like up to a football field away. And so y'all are probably like a football field and a half, 2 football fields away. And so at the moment.
Yeah. I'm not going to shadow step then. That seems excessive given the moment.
Cricket will walk towards the dead bodies.
And I'll say here, like, are y'all doing quick pace? Or like, are you like y'all been walking for 3 days, but like, are you like gonna hurry up to the farm, or are you leisurely walking? What do you think as you go?
Cautiously approaching. I mean, not sprint, but not crawl. Obviously. Walk slightly faster than normal, but not running.
Okay.
Like if we're seeing bodies, then either what has happened, or we're about to walk into something we don't want to walk into. And given the whole roguishness of being a rogue, you know, I'm not in a hurry to get ambushed.
Yeah. So we'll go, Emma, if you want to take over a share again. We can jump in. I've kind of adjusted us to the map as y'all semi-cautiously approach. You are able to come in, and I just kind of set y'all on this western side. I needed a place to put your characters. This is not necessarily like y'all's formation or anything like that. And so, but I just kind of needed a place to set y'all down. And so feel free to kind of move your character around and stuff like that. And so also shout out to the fire effect. It was very difficult to do. And so as y'all get closer, you do notice that there are these two buildings that remain unburnt. And so while there are like 3 others in this immediate range that are like embers, and there's like other buildings and stuff off map that have also been burned down. There are these 2 buildings that remain standing. And then as you look around, you're able to pick off like 10 to 12 farmers, and there's bodies lying around. What would you like to do from here? Yep.
I don't. Can you see my character sheet?
I do not know.
Because I have a specialization feature, but I don't know what the range is on it. I don't know what the area of the effect is.
So I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but on the demiplane character sheet, between your character's name and the for me it's Midnight and Grace, the whatever they're called,
the domains,
there's a little 3-line. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, there's a little 3-line menu, and when you click that, there's a character sharing, and so you can share with a link or a QR code.
Okay.
I think you should be able to see that, right? Yep. It's right here.
Okay, so like mine right now is set to anyone with a link, because the only other option is me only, which is not helpful for a moment like this.
Well, for Cam, it really just says in an area containing 1 or more dead bodies.
Oh, I mean, I would say you are definitely in an area.
I am in an area containing 1 or more dead bodies.
Yes, that does seem like an accurate descriptor.
Okay.
That is some very specific phrasing.
Yeah, this is a little spooky, but like, I mean, you are a witch, but like.
Okay. So I need to make a spell cast roll.
Sorry. I will call out, that's the specialization feature, right?
Yes.
Okay, you do not have access to the specialization feature yet.
I don't. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, you just have access to your foundation feature. So.
Okay, good to know. Because I was like, well, if I'm in an area with 1 or more dead bodies, I'm going to use it. Yeah. All right, that's my question.
Yeah, I believe you'll unlock specialization features at around level 5, and then your mastery feature around level 8, I believe is how it works.
Got it.
If you choose to unlock those, you could also choose to not. So.
Got it. All right, that was my question.
It's clear that these bodies are not currently alive, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So my trying to heal any of them would be ineffective.
That's like the general vibe that you would get. If you would like to look closer, you could definitely do that. But yeah, based on the approach.
Yeah. I mean, Crinkles probably would check in on each of the bodies just to double check and be sure.
As you kind of make your way, maybe looking at some of these ones that are towards like y'all's area on the map, you do notice that there seem to be like sword wounds, like weapons, like damage from weapons. Then there are a handful that seem to keep it chill, seem to be a bit more brutally like hurt, and so. Yeah.
All right. So Andar is going to like at this point not just more out of caution. He's going to take his sword off of his back and put it in his hand, and he is gonna move over to this building, just to the southeast here. Is there like a window or a door I can peek in?
There is a door on that like west side,
Okay.
but it is closed, and then there are no visible windows.
Okay. Can I put
Seeing
my
him
ear up
pull
against
his
the
sword-
door? Oh, go ahead, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, seeing you pull out your sword, I instinctively pull out my dagger as well. Just
Okay.
if you're getting prepped, I'm gonna be prepped too.
Game.
All right. Can I go up to the door, put my ear against the door, and try to see if I can. Weird phrasing. If I can hear anything on the other side of the door.
Yes, you can put your ear up against the wall, and you do hear voices within the building.
Okay. Andar's going to take a step kind of back away from the door, more to the kind of the corner, and he is going to kind of very quietly just do a bunch of hand motions to get the group's attention, and kind of do like point to the door or point to the building and be like, I can hear talking, hand puppet style, and just to kind of let the group know that I can hear voices in the building.
Okay. So, if y'all are congregating on the north side of the building at this point, then I'm going to start to kind of sneak around the south side and kind of listen in as well. So, like down this way. Just so that we're kind of approaching it from both sides. Is there anything I see or hear differently from this side of the building than what he did?
No, again, you can hear like conversations, but you do not hear anything specific.
Nothing clear or more distinct or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, you're gonna kind of hear like a little pause, and then you hear what sounds like chairs scraping against the wood on the interior. And then you begin to hear footsteps approaching. What would y'all like to do? You have a feeling that whoever is inside of this house is about to be outside of this house.
I move over here.
I'm going to duck
Let's see.
around the corner.
I stay generally in the back, but I'll get my dual staff out and just kind of twirl it a little bit.
Okay. Everybody give me a reaction roll. And so a reaction roll does not generate hope or fear, but everybody give me a reaction roll.
So does that
As
mean
the
just
door-
1d12?
Go ahead and just give me 2d12, but just no hope or fear for this.
Great.
You want the total?
Yes.
Okay.
Between the two?
Mm-hmm.
So combine the two. Y'all are going to see my sheet.
I got an 8.
Same.
Wait,
I got
sorry,
an 11.
clarifying. One more time, we're combining the dice.
Yes.
Correct.
Great, 13.
16.
And Tasha, what did you say?
11.
Okay.
Look at us being woefully unprepared by comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we were doing here was I was going to determine if y'all were going to get a jump on them or if they were going to get a jump on you. 3 of you rolled above 10. And so y'all can get the jump on them. Out of this room, building, steps a large humanoid man, and he is clad in what can best be described as obviously stolen armor. It is very mismatched. It's very practical, and it does not seem to be a good vibe. And then as they leave, a set of 5 cell swords step out behind them. Since y'all all did well on your reaction rolls, they are now outside of the building, and we are going to enter combat for the first time. And so, as a reminder, combat in Daggerheart does not have initiative. You are able to go multiple times, as many times as you want. And then if you roll with fear, or if you fail a roll, that gets passed over to me, and I can choose to do something. And so I should also add our fear tracker to the stream. So fear is a resource that I can use to do things. And so in front of you, there are 6 soldiers. What would you like to do?
Real quick, point of clarification, is very close range, you have to be right next to the person?
So melee is right next to them. Very close would be
1 square?
5 feet away. Let me check real quick. Very close is 3 squares. Then close is 5 to 6. So.
Okay. So what I would like to do is I'm just gonna use my sword, and we're just gonna attack big boy here.
Okay.
And okay. Just check it, because one of my cards I can do something cool if this works. Hope it works. Okay. So I need to make an attack roll with agility. Goes. Oh, dang it. That is going to be a 60, 70, 18 with fear.
Oh, well, let me tick up that fear counter. That is a hit, though.
Okay.
So
awesome. Okay. Have 1, 2. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna hang on to that. Okay, so it is 1. Let's see. You know what, we're just gonna do this because I don't feel like mathing this one out. And so 1d10 plus 4. So that would be an 8.
Okay. So you do make a very strong hit against him, kind of catching him blindside as he steps out of the room. I assume you're using your spear to kind of get him in a surprising fashion.
Yeah. And then I'm also going to use my ability Whirlwind. It does not cost me a stress to use it. But when I make an attack against a target with a very close range, on a success, I can spend a hope to use the attack against all other targets within very close range.
Okay.
All additional adversaries you succeed against with this ability take half damage, so they would all take 4.
Okay. And so as your or how do you? I imagine this is like a flurry of attacks, but how do you imagine this?
So I would say from where he's so he's kind of, Andar and Embers are kind of stuck in that corner. So when he sees everybody step out, he's already got his sword out, and as soon as he sees everybody, he just runs. And tries to catch him by surprise. So he'll probably end up right about here, right next to the big boy. And so he just dives in, sword just going to town, doing what he can, trying to pierce any spots in their armor that would be considered weak points to get damage.
Okay. And are you moving first, or are you attacking then moving? Just for a.
Probably attack. Because once I kind of do the attack, then I could see, and then he'll kind of take like a step back.
Okay. So you're gonna kind of run up, attack, and then like step away.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So as your spear flies, you get a hit, and you notice that for these cell swords, a lot of their armor seems to not actually be that great. And in this massive attack, you are able to take out 4 of the cell swords.
Nice.
And then because you rolled with fear, I will take the spotlight. I am going to start a countdown. That countdown is going to start at 5. You'll have to wait and find out what this does. And then this person is going to come and run up. He goes, "What are you doing here? You aren't supposed to be here." And he's going to run up to Andar and is going to attack you with his mace. This sounds like a time for a little chunk for my first D20 roll. So this will be against your evasion. Ooh, that's going to be a 21.
Yeah, that hits.
And so he is going to connect, and this attack is going to deal 4 damage to you. And so with our first time having damage dealt, remember you have damage thresholds. Emma, if you want to scroll up a little bit, perfect. So if a damage is below your minor number, that would be 1 HP of damage. If it's in your major number, in that gap in the middle, you would take 2 points of HP damage. And then if it's above that last threshold, it is severe, and you would take 3 points of damage. And then at any time...
Go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done. Okay. Go ahead.
No, and then at any time, if you have armor, you can burn an armor slot to reduce the damage by 1 tier.
So for me, that would be in the 4. It hits my minor damage because my minor threshold is 6. I am not going to burn an armor slot at this point, and I'll just take the 1 hit.
Okay.
How many hit points was that?
Just 1.
For the RP, do we have reactions in this system? How does that work?
Not formally. There are not formally reactions or anything like that. And so...
Okay.
You may have an ability that says like when something happens, but yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, when a creature causes you or an ally within close range to mark any number of hit points, you can mark stress to hex them. So I want to hex this guy and wink at Andar at the same time as the hex takes over to freak him out.
Okay.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
And then I am going to then, sorry, real quick. Then this character has an ability that when they make a successful attack against a PC, I gain a fear. So.
Ooh, nice.
And so, Mayfly, what does the hex do?
So, when a creature causes you or an ally within close range to mark any number of hit points, you can mark a stress to hex them. While hexed, they gain a penalty to their damage thresholds equal to your spellcast trait, and a penalty to their difficulty equal to your tier. You can only have 1 target at a time.
So what's your spellcast trait? I assume is your 2?
Yes.
Okay. Keep me honest on that when I call stuff out. So. But yeah, then I'm going to pass the spotlight back over to y'all. Who else would like to go? Again, let's have everybody get around before people go multiple times, but.
Me.
Okay.
I would like to go. Crinkles was gonna see all this happening and laugh a little bit. And then she was gonna move up to this guy And now she moves. 1 minute she's her, and the next minute she's a wolf. She's gonna use her druid beast form to turn into a wolf because she can do that.
Okay.
And then she wants to attack the guy.
Okay.
With her thingy thing. I'm looking at the PDF right now. So I first roll this, correct?
Yes.
So a total 8 with hope.
Yep. And then what are you making your attack with? I assume you'll have like an ability.
I gain advantage on attack, sprint, and tracking. It's just when you succeed on an attack, just like teeth, like it like bite it. It says melee strength D8 plus 2 physical.
Okay, so add the strength of add your strength to that result.
Okay, so I also get advantage, so I would roll this again.
So remember, yeah, advantage is just a plus D6. So
Yeah,
just take
so
the D6 from this roll.
Yeah, I would add it to. That would be a 1, so a 9
Yeah, and then what is your strength?
plus 2, so 11.
11. That is not going to be enough to get through their armor. The countdown goes down by 1.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay,
but because you rolled with hope, get your hope. Add that to yourself. And then I am going to, since you did miss the roll, I am going to take the spotlight. The guard is going to yell, "Everyone, get out here!" I'm going to burn 2 hope or 2 fear, and then nothing happens from what y'all can tell, and so
not ominous either.
I'll pass it back to y'all.
Okay. You said melee was how many squares? 3?
1 square.
1 square.
So like right next to them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move in to this dude and do him a stab with my dagger. Which is apparently finesse, which I get a +2.
Yep.
All right, so that is 13 with hope.
Okay.
8 and 5.
That is a success. So go ahead and get your hope, and then give me damage.
All right, that is 1d8 plus 1 physical. Which is 7 plus 1 physical is 8.
Okay. And that is enough as you kind of sneak up behind this guard to come and get them, and you have successfully taken them out. And so don't forget your hope, and then spotlight will stay on the players since you succeeded with hope.
Okay.
How many more? Is it just the one guy left?
This guy is the only person you see. He has called for other people, but he is the only one that you see.
Well, I was going to do something cool, but there's only one more person. I want to do it? No, I'm not. I'm going to save it. I am going to use one of my effects on this guy. It's called Voice of Dread. I can magically speak directly into the ears of a creature you can see. So if I'm not, I'm sure I can just, peek around this corner.
Mm-hmm.
I torment them with my words. I'm thinking like vicious mockery, but I don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
I can be like, ew, your beard's so ugly. And then make a spellcast roll against them. Okay. Let's see. I don't think this is gonna work. I rolled 7 with hope.
Okay, that will not be enough.
Dang. But I bet I get my hope, right?
Yes, you still get your hope.
Okay. Well, I still think their beard looks ugly.
I am
Yeah, that's all
going
I'm
to
gonna do.
take the spotlight since you failed. Nothing happens that y'all perceive. I'm gonna pass it over to Mayfly as the last person that has not had a turn yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. I had my quote unquote reaction.
What about the hex? Did we account for the hex in that last attack? Okay.
Yes,
just making
yeah,
sure.
it was not enough.
Well, the only thing I've got the same thing Emerson's got. Dang. Okay. We really should have talked about these spells, man.
You can say more mean things.
If it says within far range, does it have to be at far range, or can it be closer than that?
It can be closer.
It can be closer than that. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Let me do vicious entangle then, I guess, because that looks like it does damage. That's a spell cast roll, so that's my. Okay, that's my 2d12 plus 2,
Yep.
and then I have to figure out whether it's with. Okay, got it. That's double 4s.
Okay, that's a critical. So you gain a hope. If you have stress, you heal 1 stress. And then this is a critical success. And so,
Nice.
so what does this ability do?
On success, roots and vines reach out from the ground, dealing 1d8 plus 1 physical damage and temporarily restraining the target. So now I need a d8.
Okay. And what we're going to do for criticals, I don't remember if we have talked about this before, is you are going to take the maximum damage that you could roll. So if you roll 1d10, your maximum is 10. Then you are going to roll that die and add the maximum to whatever you roll.
Nice.
Okay, so in this case, it would be 8 plus whatever I roll.
Yep.
Okay. Plus 1, I guess. 8 plus 6 plus 1.
So 15.
15.
Okay. Okay. This is a very big hit, and they're now entangled, I believe you said.
Yes, they are restrained. It says I could restrain another adversary, but there's no other adversary, so it doesn't matter. So we're good.
And then for funsies, now that y'all have all had a turn, I am going to burn a fear to take the spotlight since we had a critical success. After these, how did you describe them, Mayfly? Like, are they vines that shoot up? Like, what's the...
Yeah, they're more like, I would say for cricket, they're more like, they match her dual staff. They're like these blackened roots, almost kind of charred and dead looking in a way, but alive at the same time. And they kind of come up from the ground and like will grab him by the ankles and pull taut.
So as these darkened roots erupt out, the ground kind of shakes. And then there's a moment of pause as they like wrap around this guard. Then the ground shakes again as out of this other building, bursts forth two hulking zombie figures. One of them walks out of, or like bursts out of the building, runs up to Imris and goes to take a swing at her. And that is where we will call the session.
Drama.
And so we will come back to this in 2 weeks to find out. I need to make a note that the zombie is attacking Imris, so I do not forget.
Okay if you do.
No big deal if you forget that.
Oh man, I should have
and-
went ahead with my original.
But we are going to call the stream there since we have hit the end of our time for tonight. We are planning to be back on the 8th of September for our second session, where we will come in and pick up on how our players are doing as they have now kind of figured out what has gone on at this farm. And so I want to give, again, a little moment. Go check out Locke streaming over on Twitch at Locksteady. And then I want to say thank you to everyone who came and played. I hope y'all had a fantastic time tonight as we dove into our first combat of Daggerheart. And so, but we will catch you. Emma and I will be back next week with Book Club on Looking for Alaska by John Green. And so come and join us for that. And then, like I said, we'll be back on the 8th for session 2. But have a fantastic rest of your night, everyone. I will catch y'all later. Bye.
Bye.